2025 strips away our voting rights protections, and it eliminates the Department of Education. It would siphon public school funding to private schools, leaving our kids behind. Planning on going to college? Good luck paying for it. Project 2025 cuts funding for federal student loans. Trump's Project 2025 would also make states monitor women's pregnancies, and it bans abortion. Project 2025 would also gut Obamacare, ripping away health care from millions. Simply put, Trump's Project 2025 would be devastating to Black America. But we can stop it by voting for Kamala Harris for president, because we are not going back.
I'm Kamala Harris, candidate for president, and I approve this message.
Paid for by Harris for president.
Milwaukee Health Services Incorporated is celebrating 35 years of serving all income and medically underserved populations of Milwaukee's metropolitan area. MHSI is a one-stop shop that provides medical, radiology, dental, pediatric, behavioral health, pharmacies with affordable medications, and more. Also, MHSI's new family medicine residency program, located at the Isaac Cogg's Heritage Health Center, has brought 28 family doctors to our area, which is significantly impacted by healthcare workforce shortages. Become a new patient today. To schedule an appointment, call 414-372-8080. Your health is their business.
Associated Bank knows your small business isn't just a venture. It's your dream and a vital part of the community. And we're not just a bank. We're your neighbors. We're looking out for you. That's why Associated Bank offers quick online applications and approvals with funding in as fast as one business day, checking with no minimum balances or maintenance fees, and prompt customer service. Explore our products at associatedbank.com/business or visit a branch for more details. Subject to credit approval. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
All insurance companies, they want to know where are your cars housed. Right. They want to know how far you driving to get to and from work every day. They want to know all these different things for weather patterns. Are you living in northern Wisconsin, or are you living down in Tornado Alley somewhere in Kentucky? These things make a difference as to how your insurance rates are formed. I need you to be factual, and every single time somebody commits these different frauds, it all adds up, and everybody ends up paying the price for it down the road.
Erie Insurance, providing the protection you need and the service you expect, all at a great price.
It is Truth Be Told with DT&Telly on 1017 The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
Good morning, Truth Nation. Happy Monday. Hope you had a great weekend and your week is going off or getting off to a great start. Just really quick, I know a number of you may be trying to watch us live on YouTube. We are aware and we're working on it now. Like I said last Friday, Telly and I, we just the talent. We are not technical. But for those who are tuning in or trying to watch us on YouTube, we are on it, and thank you for your patience. Now, before break, we were dissecting football over the weekend, and first we talked about, Telly and I, we were discussing the Georgia Bulldogs versus the Alabama Crimson Tide football game that aired yesterday, and it was quite the game. It was quite the game from a variety of reasons. One in particular, former President Donald Trump was in attendance at this game yesterday, and the camera was placed on him. He stood up, and as Telly had shared, the venue where the Alabama Crimson Tide games are played can accommodate over 100,000 people. Now, we all know Alabama has no professional sports teams whatsoever. There's some minor league baseball teams, or semi-professional, I should say. But in terms of NBA, NFL, NHL, the list goes on, that does not exist in Alabama. I say that because there is a huge fan base for their football team. Former President Donald Trump was in attendance. When he stood up, Truth Nation, when I tell you 99.99% of the people in that arena stood up, gave this man a good 15, 20 second standing ovation. Parents had the baby standing up. And I thought to myself immediately, this is the truth. My truth was this. Because I'm doing a quick inventory of who's on the field playing for Alabama. And it was a lot of black folks. a lot of young black men playing for Alabama. And I thought to myself, we are so forgiving. Because I honestly, Telly, it looked like to me, and you can say I'm being dramatic, but I thought, wow, you talk about smack in the face. I'm out here on this field playing to make sure that we get all this money from the NCAA and all these other establishments and organizations, and former President Donald Trump, who has yet to visit an HBCU, and Alabama has a whole bunch. Good morning, Pat. Thank you for your patience. You are live with DT&Telly. What is your question or comment?
Good morning. We are family. Y'all was talking so good last week. I was so happy to hear everything y'all said. But today's a new day. Now, Donald Trump not going to an HBCU is not concerning to me, because I believe that Kamala just went to the border for the first time in the last 3 years a couple weeks ago. That's more concerning to me than him attending the HBCU game. That's all I'm saying. Thanks, family.
Thank you. Thank you for calling and sharing your thoughts.
Right. Hey, Pat, there's nothing wrong with feeling that way, and because we all have different concerns, and just like it may not be a concern that, he was at the Alabama and Georgia game. I mean, you're right. I mean, some people may look at that and say that is a bigger deal, because, I mean, people understand that how big college football is in the state of Alabama, and it's more of a political way of getting more votes than to just go there and say, okay, I'm supporting this person or I'm supporting that person. I mean, you're basically knocking out two states, Georgia and Alabama, which are pretty big states for Donald Trump to maintain it to be red. So, but I get where you're coming from, Pat, and I understand that, hey, we all have different concerns, because, DT, that is every week to me, where you have these stadiums that seat 100,000 people, and I'm in these stadiums every weekend, and rarely do you see black students that are attending these games. I mean, let's just be real. You got a lot of black athletes that are on the field or on the basketball court, but then when you look up in the stands, you have all of these corporate sponsors and all these white students, and so it's no different than any other Saturday when it comes to the racial components of college football.
Let me just say this really quick, and I find it interesting. Pat was like, y'all was speaking my truth last week, but as soon as you start saying something I didn't agree with, I had to call in. Okay, Pat, that's what we gonna do this morning. That's cool, because trust me, in this thing called talk radio, you're gonna say things, or you're gonna hear things that you don't agree with. But I hope that you understand that's the whole greatness about this station, is that we have a platform as black people that we can. So when you said y'all was saying the right things last week and this week, I had to call because you disagreed. And then secondly, I did not want to say anything about President Trump as a president. You did. I didn't. I talked about the fact that you had over 100,000 people in the state of Alabama standing, giving this man an ovation, knowing the history of that state, knowing the general perception of former President Donald Trump's engagement in the black community, with a majority of black athletes on both teams. I never said anything about President Trump's leadership, his presidency, what he did or didn't do, or what Madam Vice President did or didn't do. I literally was talking about we as a people being so forgiving. See, that's the thing. We hear what we want to hear. We literally hear what we want to hear. And I'm all for a healthy debate, whether it's affirmative or in the negative. But again, Pat, I love you. I appreciate your listenership, but I said nothing about Trump's presidency. I literally was talking about you got all these black players in a state that recently, Pat, the legislation has removed all, and I mean underscore ALL, all DE&I, anything to do with racial sensitivity, inclusion, equity, that has been legally removed. Then you have a former president come to the game in a state that has a deep-rooted history of discrimination and inequality towards people that look like you and me. And I was trying to understand, how does a black player feel when they see that type of response to former President Trump? Not what Kamala's doing with the border, not what President Trump is doing for HBCUs, but I was focusing on the reaction. 833-212-1017. Feel free to call back in, Pat. Because again, if we're gonna have these dialogues about what we hear and what we see, your opinion is your opinion, your facts are your facts. But it was just like, yeah, y'all was saying everything that I agreed with last week, but this week we gotta do better, y'all. We got to. Al, we'll take you. We come back from break. We're gonna also go into Jordan Love, and he got one coming too. So Green Bay, I was gonna say slackers, Packers fans, let's get into it. Because I also want to understand how we are so forgiving when it comes to Brett Favre. And don't take my word for it, because I have plenty of video and commentators, including black men, who also said the same thing. You're listening to the best morning show on planet Earth, Truth Be Told, with DT&Telly on the award-winning 101.7 The Truth. We'll be back.
More of Truth Be Told with DT&Telly is next on 101.7 The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
For your fellow fanatics and your number one fans. For your game day compatriots and your everyday companions. For your personal cheerleaders and your personal heroes. For the reasons you smile, get covered with dental and vision insurance from Delta Dental of Wisconsin and Delta Vision. Learn more at deltadentalwi.com today.
It's time for Truth Takes, a thought-provoking commentary on the new 101.7 The Truth. Here is Telly Hughes with his truth.
I want to stress the importance of a positive mindset. Everything begins as a thought before it ever becomes an action. So it's extremely important to purposely place yourself in positive spaces to help shape and nurture those thoughts. I know you're probably thinking, okay, Telly, let's be realistic. Look, I get it. You may work with people with bad energy, or you may even be related to people who are negative by nature. In this journey called life, there will be many things that come your way that's out of your control. But what you can control is how you respond. Understand this. You have the right to either tap in or tap out of whatever energy that may come your way. And that's how you can control and protect your positive spaces. The mind is where it all starts, and if your thoughts are centered around positivity, you'll see how things begin to transform. You'll see a noticeable difference between things happening for you versus things always happening to you. You begin to grow through situations as opposed to just going through tough situations. Make it a priority to surround yourself with positive people and create those positive spaces and begin to experience the fruits of what a positive mindset can produce. Trust me, it takes work to creating these spaces, and you have to be intentional about it. And I'm committed to putting in the work because I'm living proof that it's well worth the peace a positive mindset brings.
This has been Truth Takes on the new 101.7 The Truth. Listen to Truth Be Told with DT&Telly weekdays from 7 a.m. to 9 a.m.
When you're high, you feel different. Pretty obvious, right? You think different, talk different, but if you feel different, you drive different. So if you're high, just don't drive. Brought to you by NHTSA and the Ad Council.
Join Wisconsin Economic Development Corporation for Marketplace Wisconsin, the Governor's Conference on Diverse Business Development, December 11th and 12th. Register at marketplacewisconsin.com.
Bike crash? Call Gruber Law Offices. One call, that's all.
We're looking Looking at a bit of a backup eastbound 94 as you're making your way out of the Zoo interchange through the stadium. Southbound on 43 backups from just south of Silver Spring all the way down to Capitol. Northbound on 4394 slowing down from Howard Avenue up past Oklahoma. And check the TMJ4 Storm Team forecast today. Mostly sunny, a high of 75 at the lakefront, 80 inland. Tonight partly cloudy, isolated showers to the north, a low of 59. For the WTMJ Traffic Center, I'm Debbie Lazaga on 101.7 The Truth.
You are listening to Truth Be Told with DT&Telly on 101.7 The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
Good morning, Truth Nation. The 2024 presidential election is less than 2 months away, and to help you make an informed decision on our country's next leader, we will be broadcasting the vice presidential debate live tomorrow night starting at 8 p.m. Again, that is the U.S. vice presidential debate between VP candidates Tim Walz and J.D. Vance tomorrow night at 8 p.m. right here on the award-winning 101.7 The Truth, Milwaukee Black Talk.
Now, are you ready to dive into those issues that matter the most? Join us live for our first ever Truth Summit on Saturday, October 26th from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. on the 3rd Street Market Hall. This exclusive in-person roundtable event will discuss the pulse of Black Milwaukee, from managing your money in tough times to navigating the education system and understanding the political decisions that impact us all. We've got it covered for you, Truth Nation. Dr. Ken Harris will be joined by expert guests in the finance, education, and political field, and they will have a lively debate and share insights that you can't afford to miss. So reserve your spot for the Truth Summit by visiting 1017thetruth.com, and that is 1017thetruth.com. Good morning, Al. Thank you for your patience as we've been discussing the forgiveness from Black folks. Are you still there, Al?
Well,
you're live.
Yes, yes. The reason why Black people forgive is because those people are white. Because that forgiveness is totally different when it comes to their own. I think somebody put too much vinegar in the coleslaw this morning and not enough meat in the pinto beans. Because what I want to share with you, DT and Telly, if Donald Trump was a blue-nosed charlatan, no good heifer, and he was black, when no black people will be standing behind him. They will talk about him as if he was black before they drank the Parmesan and black velvet. So the reason why these so-called people are like trying to pull the cloth over everybody's eyes is because he is white. And you know how some of our people is when it comes to whiteness. And I think some people have our open fetish for race play. Have a great day and enjoy that whip when that slavery come to your door. Because it ain't going to come to mine because I got some for 'em, baby. And I hope the rest of y'all do too. But beware the eyes of March, because they're trying to give you spoiled cabbage and tell you it was just made this morning. Pay attention to how some of our people talk. Happy Monday.
Thank you, Al. Happy Monday to you. Telly on our Truth Talk and text line, which is 833-212-1017. Akpan says, white people don't care if you know how they feel or what they stand for. That's why they do us like they do. Stacy shares, morning, y'all. If them blacks on the team, speaking of the Alabama Crimson Tide college football team, would have sat down or took a knee, it probably would have gotten them into trouble or reprimanded. Completely agree. I wasn't even expecting that. Me personally, I would not expect that, and I completely agree with you, Stacy. Now, Telly, here's the question. This is what I love, because the question that came in from DeAngel's Advocate, it says, Madam DT, that was nice of you, I guess. Am I Madam? I don't think so, but thank you for that. Your purpose was to be respectful. Thank you for that. You say the quote, the blacks are so forgiving. What exactly are they forgiving Trump for? Once again, I'm not talking about Trump. I'm not fixated on him. I am saying that from the lens of a black person, to see in the state of Alabama, which has been a traditionally very conservative state, and the history of black Americans in that state. And we can say things have become better, which is also part of our forgiving nature. Oh, things ain't like they used to be. Hey, at least we're not slaves anymore. They good to us. Look, I'm out here playing football on a collegiate scholarship. I'm making all kind of money for this school. I'm important. Ladies and gentlemen, the 45th President of the United States, President Donald J. Trump. I mean, you literally thought Michael Jackson was resurrected. Shadio says, Telly and DT, do you remember that saying that our parents always tells us before we go out the house? Remember the sons of whom you are. That saying is so powerful, and it's meant to serve as a constant reminder of where you're coming from. It's our responsibility as a black community to properly teach these kids about where we're coming from. It seems that we certainly forgot everything.
Yeah. I can honestly say I don't think I have ever heard that specific quote, remember the sons of whom you are, but I understand where you're coming from with that saying, but yeah, that I think that goes down a whole nother road when you start talking about teaching the next generation and this, that, the other, because sometimes you got to have people that want to get taught. And if you're trying to teach something that someone doesn't want to get taught, then, I mean, where are you going to go? Where are you going to get?
Well, maybe we can hear some perspective on that from Black Conscious. Blake, we also see you're going to take you immediately from hearing from Black Conscious. Good morning. You are live with DT&Telly. What is your question or comment?
Knowledge yourself and good health to you. Welcome back. Glad you made it back safely with your extended assignment. What's up, DT?
Thank you.
What's up, Telly? But we shouldn't be surprised. That's all. It was in Alabama, right?
Yes, it was in Alabama. Yes. Yes.
Then we should not be surprised of how they feel when this man shows they great leader. I mean, and I'm surprised Al, when he spoke, he didn't cast it all on Christianity, because that's another thing that got us so forgiving, in a manner of speaking. Not true for all, but maybe for some. So also to that quote you were saying, I'm gonna give you one more. Dr. Maya Angelou said, and I'm gonna add something else to it. Believe them when they show you who they are. She said, tells you who they are. Yes. And I'm going to say, and show you who they are. Please believe it. So that's what we're dealing with. And they're proud as all get out to share that proudness of him and all things he do. One last thing, and I'm going to let you go to get to the other caller. I really get a little twisted when people say they don't know much about Vice President Harris. But you know everything about Trump, and yet still you on the fence? Stop it. Live righteous, Milwaukee.
Thank you, Black Conscious. Appreciate your perspective as always. Good morning, Blake. You are live with DT&Telly. Thank you for your patience. What is your question or comment?
Once again, good morning, DT. I love your attitude. Now I understand why can't nobody make you be quiet, because you're a beast. But my man, Telly, I love you, dude. I didn't know that was you when I used to work for the Bucks, and that was your voice. But now I know who you are. But y'all got to remember, they see us as property. I went down to Georgia, and they had houses in the backyard off the train tracks that looked like down houses. They were houses for slaves. Y'all have to remember, January 6th, I thought it was drunk college kids climbing Madison. It was not. It was Donald Trump acting a fool, having them people climb that wall. Y'all have to remember that they don't care, that they think this world belongs to us. It belongs to them. Money does not make the world go round. Gravity does. We can all just drop dead and die, and we still have people to come recycle behind us. If the cycle doesn't change, and the people that we have, let them be, they're not going to change themselves. They're not going to change their attitudes. They're not going to change their way of living. They're not going to change what they have for them. If they change the value of $1, we will be on top of the world. Just remember that. Life is not about money. Life is about breath and teaching each other how to be better. I spent 4 years in Georgia. Y'all all around here. Y'all do this. Y'all do that. I just ignored it. But people, they still got Uncle Charlie chains up under the porch, ready to rape people that look like us. Y'all got to remember that. They don't care about us. We got to care about us. We got to take care of us. Love.
Thank you, Blake. And definitely underscoring the last part of your perspective. We have to support each other. We have to. Or at least continue and really focus on how we're going to truly operate as other communities of color operate collectively versus divided, and keeping our dollar in our community way longer than what we have. When we come back from break, I want to share with you, and I'm going to see if, because our DJ Ricky on the ones and twos, maybe we can edit some of this, and I don't think we probably have enough time, but there was a response from a very popular sports podcast, a brother who played professional football, speaking of which and speaking of forgiveness, that talks about Brett Favre's recent testimonial hearing in front of Congress on Capitol Hill last Tuesday, where he revealed that he was diagnosed with Parkinson's disease back in January. A lot to dissect between that testimony and Jordan Love, who is a black quarterback for the Green Bay Packers, his pregame into the locker room attire. Why are we so forgiving? 833-212-1017. Please stay locked in. We will be back.
Don't touch that dial. Truth Be Told with DT&Telly will be right back on 1017 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com. Truth Nation, the election is less than a month away, and we are excited about another episode of The Truth on Politics on Tuesday, October 15th from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. This show engages in a thoughtful debate on the local and national elections and the policies which impact our black communities the most. Do not miss The Truth on Politics on Tuesday, October 15th from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. with Dr. Ken Harris, Tori Lowe, Ben Jamin, Damian Elzie, and Kyle Wallace on the award-winning 1017 The Truth and streaming live on YouTube.
How much I weigh is nobody's business, but Eric Hovde wants to make it his.
Republican candidate for United States Senate Eric Hovde says that overweight people should have to pay more for their health insurance.
Eric Hovde want us to pay more because we weigh more? How insulting is that?
Listen to Eric Hovde.
There should be consequences to those personal choices. Fine, you want to do that? Your health care is going to cost more.
Hovde would increase health care costs for 1 out of every 3 people in Wisconsin.
Eric Hovde is totally wrong. Who do he think he is?
Senator Tammy Baldwin has a different view. She's working to lower health care costs for Wisconsinites. Tammy Baldwin wrote the law that lets young people stay on their parents' health insurance until they're 26. And Tammy took on the big pharmaceutical companies to cap the cost of insulin and inhalers. Tammy Baldwin is the one who's working for us.
I'm Tammy Baldwin, candidate for Senate, and I approve this message.
Paid for by Tammy Baldwin for Senate.
Sybaris Pool Suites. Romantic, luxurious, affordable. A place where romance touches paradise and the memories of a lifetime are made. Sybaris offers a variety of room styles, including the exquisite Chalet Suite, which spans 3 levels and features your own private swimming pool with cascading waterfall, soothing whirlpool tub, a cozy fireplace, and much more to make your stay unforgettable. They are located in Mequon, just north of Milwaukee. Take a virtual tour at Sybaris.com.
What if one day you went to your secret hiding place and instead of what you came for, you found a phone number, 1-800-662-HELP? What would you do? Would you stop and give it some thought? Before drugs take their toll on you and your family, know that there is help. you can quit. For help with drug use, call 1-800-662-HELP for free and confidential information and treatment referral, or go to samhsa.gov/know-the-risks.
Attention families, Milwaukee Public Museum wants to remind you that Kohl's Thank You Thursdays are in full swing. Receive free access to MPM's permanent exhibits on the first Thursday of every month. Milwaukee Public Museum would like to thank Kohl's for their support in making this program possible. Visit MPM's website today for more information and to book your reservations. mpm.edu/KTYT. That's mpm.edu/KTYT.
You are listening to Truth Be Told with DT&Telly on 1017 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
You are not dreaming. You are listening to the best morning show on planet Earth. And we're so glad that you're here. Thank you for kicking off your week here on the award-winning 1017thetruth.com, or excuse me, .com. I'm over here trying to read our text messages that came in, our Truth Talking text line, which is 833-212-1017. If you're just tuning in, first and foremost, good morning. We've been talking about why are we as black people so forgiving? And we started dissecting the Alabama Crimson Tide versus Georgia Bulldogs game where former President Donald Trump was in attendance. And just to see the masses of people, almost 100 or over 100,000 people that stood and gave him an ovation. And I know Marcus on our Truth Talking text line asked, so you're not allowed to support the candidate of your choice? Come on, Marcus. That's a rhetorical question. Of course you can. Who am I to tell you you're not allowed to support the candidate of your choice? Absolutely, you are supposed to be. That's a wonderful thing about this country. But again, that's not what we're talking about.
Yeah.
Optics are very powerful.
I don't think those players weren't put in a position where they had the option. They had to play. If they didn't, it wasn't like they could have said, "Oh, I don't like him, and I'm going to leave," and then come back, in the second half. So, of course you could support whoever you want to support. But
Marcus knows that. He's poking.
But the thing is, again, when you're put in different situations, I mean, like, how often is Trump supporters are put in the same room or same arena as Madam Vice President Harris?
I'll play your game.
And if they are,
yes.
they have the choice. They have the choice to leave.
Look, Telly, I'll play the game. Yes, Marcus. You are absolutely allowed to support any candidate of your choice in this country. Yes, you can.
Yep. There it
Dan
is.
on our Truth Talking text line says black people tolerate the bull or are so forgiving because black people have used up their moral currency, as stated by Aaron McCruder, creator of the Boondocks. Al says forgiveness because they're white, and that's why we get I wonder what Al this is. Sugar honey iced tea. Wonder what Al that is. In all seriousness, as we are dissecting the concept of the history of black people being so forgiving, I want to jump, speaking of football and speaking of the South, Mississippi is the poorest state in this country. Former Green Bay Packer quarterback, Hall of Famer quarterback, Brett Favre appeared in a testimonial hearing in our nation's capital, Washington, D.C., this past Tuesday. And he met with the Means and Way Committee regarding the alleged misappropriate use of funds in the state of Mississippi that are specific towards welfare recipients. Now, during this hearing, Brett Favre revealed that in January of this year, he was diagnosed with Parkinson's disease. He said he began struggling with his right arm. It was difficult for him to use a screwdriver. And when he went to the doctor, he found out that he had Parkinson's disease. Now, I hope Brett Favre recovers, or the progression of this disease is slower based on advancements in technology and medicine and so forth. What I don't agree with, and what I find to be very tacky, is that Brett Favre let the world know about this diagnosis during a congressional hearing as part of his testimony about, again, misspending welfare money in his home state, which happens to be a highly black, African-American populated state, also happens to be the poorest state in the country. Let's take a listen to Brett Favre during his congressional testimony to the Ways and Means Committee in our nation's capital just this past Tuesday.
Sadly, I also lost an investment in a company that I believed was developing a breakthrough concussion drug I thought would help others. And I'm sure you'll understand why it's too late for me, because I've recently been diagnosed with Parkinson's. This is also a cause dear to my heart. Recently, the doctor running the company pleaded guilty to taking TANF money for his own use. I believe that I got swept up in a civil lawsuit at the instigation of State Auditor Shad White, an ambitious public official who decided to tarnish my reputation to try to advance his own political career.
Now, Telly, my question to you in Truth Nation.
Any stealing?
Look, you're way ahead of me. My question is, now, for the record, Brett Favre is not facing any criminal charges in this welfare case. Correct. And Brett Favre has repaid a little over $1 million in speaking fees that were funded by the welfare program in the state of Mississippi. As you heard, he talked about the investment in a biotech company that has ties to this case. But my question is, Telly, you are providing a testimony based on the alleged misuse of welfare funds for your own personal gain, including building a gymnasium for your daughter to play volleyball in, brand new?
Correct. Mm-hmm.
What in the BB King does that have to do with you being diagnosed with Parkinson's disease? Truth Nation, and I'm going to start with you, Telly. Was that appropriate? Was that necessary? Was that the right place and time?
I said it when it happened, and I'll repeat my same sentiment to that. I didn't get it, and even in the way that he was saying it, it was kind of in passing, and so it it looked like that was an excuse as to why you went on to further say how you were victimized. And so you talk about completely taking the attention away from and changing the narrative of what it was to what you want it to be. Because again, not once did he mention the people of the state of Mississippi not receiving these welfare funds. It was, well, I got caught up in a scheme too, and for somebody who wanted to advance their political career. So no accountability taken. I mean, that seems to be a nationwide epidemic, but that's a whole nother subject. But accountability is not being taken when you say, when you want to announce that you have a disease. And so I don't know. I know we will definitely get more into it on the other side of the break. But at this time, I want to remind Truth Nation, now is your chance to be our one call. That's all Gruber 5K giveaway entry for the day. Yes, you can be entered to win $5,000 courtesy of Gruber Law Offices. Be caller number 3 right now at 833-212-1017, and you will be entered to win the $5,000 giveaway with the award-winning 1017 The Truth and Gruber Law offices. Again, that is caller number 3 at 833-212-1017. Remember, if you or a loved one has been injured in an accident, contact Gruber Law offices today. Visit them at gruber-law.com for official contest rules. Visit 1017thetruth.com.
And as Telly mentioned, we come back from break. We're going to have further discussion. We want to hear from you, Truth Nation. 833-212-1017. We're discussing Brett Favre. We've been talking about black folks. We are some forgiving folks here. But when the tables are turned, are we forgiven as much as we forgive? Not that it's a contest, but all I'm saying is that Favre, you improperly received money from the welfare funding used to help people that really needed that money. And to steal from people that really need money when you are already a multimillionaire. And Jordan Love, we're going to talk about him too, with his Favre jersey wearing self. 833-212-1017. We'll be back.
Don't touch that dial. Truth Be Told with DT&Telly will be right back on 1017 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
Truth Nation!
And all our juicy jammers out there.
Make certain that you tap into Jam with Juice each and every day so you can quench your thirst.
That is right. You already know you can sip on us every single day, like Benjamin said, from 12 p.m. to 1 p.m. But that's not all, y'all.
Catch us exclusively on YouTube for our 6 to 7 show.
Yep, only on Thursdays.
Catch Jamming with Juice each and every day on 1017 The Truth.
Now sip on that.
Friday Night Lights officially lives here. 1017 The Truth is the proud home of Marquette University High School championship football. Be sure to tune in every Friday night at 7 p.m. as we bring you some of the best gridiron action in the area. Marquette Hilltoppers football is presented by Gruber Law Offices and sponsored by Capital Insurance Agency, Magic Productions, Annex Wealth Management, C.G. Schmidt, Left's Lucky Town, Boyle Frederickson Intellectual Property Law, and Marquette University High School. Truth Nation, let us talk our ish for a moment. There is no other station in the country where you get a front row seat to hear from some of the biggest names in politics, pop culture, and sports. People like Vice President Kamala Harris.
Talk with your listeners to remind them of their power and the importance of voting. And the folks in Milwaukee turned out for me and Joe Biden in 2020. You showed what was possible.
U.S. Representative Marjorie Taylor Greene.
Congresswoman Marjorie Taylor Greene, are you a racist?
Absolutely not.
Is Donald Trump a racist?
Absolutely not. No.
And civil rights attorney Benjamin Crump.
Thank you all for speaking truth to power. That's the most important thing, because right now there are those in our community who would rather we just be quiet.
Right.
We have to disturb the peace now more than ever.
Tap into the award-winning and nationally recognized 1017 The Truth by downloading the Truth app and streaming us live at 1017 The Truth on YouTube. Milwaukee Black Talk.
When severe weather hits and the power goes out, do you have a plan? For reliable power and peace of mind, propane can do that. It only takes about 10 seconds for a propane-powered generator to restore power to your home. So no matter what Mother Nature has in store, you know you're prepared. Learn more at wipga.org. This message is sponsored by your local propane provider and the Wisconsin Propane Education and Research Council.
Attention Milwaukee County residents. Are you prepared for the unexpected? From sudden storms to unforeseen emergencies, readiness is key. Take charge of your safety with a family emergency plan and an essential emergency kit. Stay informed and connected during emergencies. For tips and resources, visit us online or contact the Milwaukee County Office of Emergency Management. Prepare now, stay safe, and build a resilient community together, because readiness starts with you.
Listen to the home of the 5K Gruber Cash Giveaway. 1017 FM, 1510 AM, WGKB Waukesha, and W269DL Milwaukee, a locally owned Good Karma brand station. It is Truth Be Told with DT&Telly on 1017 The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
Good morning, Truth Nation. Happy Monday. I hope that you had a great weekend. Telly and I are so excited about you joining us to get your week started off on a great note. We have been discussing the forgiveness of black folks. We are some forgiving humans, especially when it comes to racism and the overall treatment of our community in this country. We started dissecting the recent Georgia Bulldogs versus Alabama Crimson Tide game, where former President Donald Trump was in attendance. And boy, did they give him an ovation, a standing ovation. Fast forward, and by the way, the venue where Alabama hosts their college football games can seat or accommodate over 100,000 people. And from what I saw, 99,999 people stood up with all them black players on the field. Fast forward, or I should say rewind. On Tuesday, in our nation's capital, on Capitol Hill, Brett Favre provided a testimony to the Means and Ways House Committee regarding the Mississippi welfare scandal involving millions of dollars diverted to rich and powerful people, including Brett Favre. Now, quick update before we go into how some notable commentators have responded or reacted to Brett Favre's revealing that he was diagnosed with Parkinson's disease back in January. Now, he shared this during the testimonial hearing in front of Congress. Quick update. Shannon Sharpe was sued by Brett Favre over comments that he made 2 years ago when he was with Fox Sports. And I quote, Shannon Sharpe said Favre was, quote, taking money from the underserved, that he, quote, stole money from the people that really needed that money, end quote, and also that someone would have to be a sorry person to steal from the lowest of the low, end quote. Brett Favre filed a defamation of character lawsuit, which he lost, and has also lost after a federal appeals court refused to revive the defamation lawsuit after Brett filed an appeal. So Shannon Sharpe won not once but twice. Do you know why Shannon Sharpe won, Telly? Do you know why? Do you know why a federal appeals court refused to revive this defamation lawsuit? You know why? Because he told no lies.
Mm-hmm.
See, when you sue somebody for defamation of character, it's got to be something that's not true. Hello?
That's usually the case.
That's, you know what I'm saying? Like, if you gonna tell me that I defamed your character, please be ready to show how what I said was a lie.
Mm-hmm. No, that's
now,
real.
Fast forward, Telly, and I can't even believe that he did this. Jordan Love, current quarterback for the Green Bay Packers, black man, wears, as part of the pre-game entry into the locker room on Sunday's game, wore number 4, which was Brett Favre's jersey number when he played for Green Bay. I actually think he used the same number when he went to Minnesota, but that's neither here nor there. Brett Favre tweeted or X'd a picture of Jordan Love. How convenient, Telly. Woo, Brett Favre, you something else, man. He tweets a picture of Jordan Love, or a video of Jordan Love, walking into the locker room with his jersey on, and this is what he tweeted. Big respect to Jordan Love for wearing this old man's jersey. I didn't think I could like Jordan anymore until this morning. Jordan Love wasn't the BB King. Because here's my thing. Black people, we are so forgiving and we are so forgetful. Mm-hmm. Do y'all recall back in, I'll never forget this, back in 2004, Brett Favre's wife, Deanna Favre,
good name. Deanna, yep. Yeah.
Was diagnosed, this was back in 2004, was diagnosed with stage 2 breast cancer. Shortly thereafter, it was revealed, and this was all over the news, of where Brett Favre was sexting women while not only he's married, but his wife is battling breast cancer. He's out here texting pictures of his genitals.
It wasn't just women. It was a Jets employee, the team that he was playing for, and someone that he worked with pretty closely. So let's throw that in there too now.
Thank you, Telly. So my point in saying all that is, if somebody could do that to their wife, let alone while she's battling cancer, you think he didn't have any reservations about taking money from the poor? As Shannon Sharp said, you got to be, wow.
Especially
that's
if
unconscionable.
You think that especially if you think you're doing it for good, because clearly he thought that, I'm building my daughter, or I'm helping build a volleyball gymnasium for my daughter at the University of Southern Mississippi, and but so what? How I'm getting this money? I'm doing a good thing once I get this money, even though you're taking from the poorest people in this country.
And you know what, Telly, I'm not even mad at Brett Favre or former President Donald Trump. I just find it interesting. Jordan Love, I'm gonna pull that's y'all's quarterback. That's y'all's quarterback. You a black man walking into a pregame thinking that you're honoring and paying tribute to somebody who literally used their Parkinson's disease diagnosis strategically during a testimony hearing about some money you stole from poor black people. And that's what you do. That's y'all's quarterback. The caller, thank you so much for holding. Thank you for your patience. You are live with DT&Telly. What is your question or comment?
What I've found in researching this case is that for 40 or 50 or more years, governors of the state of Mississippi have been stealing welfare funds from poor people. And this is an additional reason, outside of Brett Favre being a white Mississippian, that he's being protected, because if he's made to be accountable, then so will they. And so will the legacies of the ones who are no longer living, which we know in America, period, especially in the state where both of my parents were born and my dad was raised, and actually in Kemper County, Mississippi, is where the Confederacy got its start, the hometown of my parents. So it's the state where Emmett Till was murdered, just a few miles away from my grandparents' home, my great-grandparents' home as well. So these are the things that happened there, and they probably anticipated that this wouldn't be a national story. Now, when it comes to the Packer quarterbacks, they probably all have relationships, and Jordan Love is also a white quarterback. So I would say that there are far more white people.
Hold on. Time out. The caller. I'm confused. What do you mean he's also a white? What do you mean when you say he's also a white? I'm confused.
He has a parent that's white. So maybe there are.
Oh, we gonna go there today? Okay.
I'm going to tell you there, if you allow me to finish. And this is the thing that I've thought about. There are biracial people who are actually who identify as white, who purposefully marry white people to make their coming generations be more white. So I don't know that about Jordan Love. And what I'm going to say is that he probably has a personal relationship with Brett Favre where he's probably more concerned about the excuse that Brett Favre made. This is not to excuse either of them, and just to state the facts. These are possible facts that make Jordan Love make his choice. But I've not heard one black person that I've spoken to who, whether we support the Packers or not, which I do, that thinks what Brett Favre did was anything less than evil. And anybody of any race should not support that, because more than 60% of the people who live in Mississippi are white. So,
okay, so the caller, I'm trying to let you finish. But we have other. I'm trying to let you finish, but you can't talk for like 10 minutes. So let me ask you this. Let me ask you this, the caller, because you said I won't let you finish, and I'm like, brother, this is a 2-hour show. This is not 4 hours. Like,
okay.
But let me ask you this. Am I understanding you correctly? Jordan Love, the quarterback for the Green Bay Packers, identifies as white.
I didn't say. I said that it's possible.
I'm asking you.
So yeah.
I'm asking you how, because you said he has a white parent and a black parent, and I'm just trying to understand how, from your lens, he identifies. Because last time I checked, Jordan Love is a black quarterback. That's how he's always been reported, from what I hear. But I want to hear from your understanding: is he a black quarterback, a biracial quarterback, a white quarterback? Because you said white quarterback. Those were your words. White quarterback.
I think biracial people actually are both, and have the right to identify as either. I'm saying that I don't think him stealing this money is specific to anybody. I think everybody should agree that this is evil. That my main point is that, and that the narrative that he stole from black people that a lot of people talk about, he stole from everybody. He stole from Asians. He stole. There are families of all races who suffered, and what I'm saying is I've not heard one black person who supports the evil that Brett Favre committed. And what I'm saying is this is very similar to other celebrities who do and say really stupid things and get support from people who support whatever their talent is. And Brett Favre hasn't played football in a long time, so to me, I think my thought of Jordan Love wearing his jersey would probably be some personal relationship that he has, and Telly probably could speak more on that type of thing, because a lot of times they have events and ceremonies where these former players get to know current players in a personal way. I don't think, I'm sure Jordan Love doesn't support him stealing.
Okay. Thank you, the caller. Thank you. You are listening to the best morning show on planet Earth. Truth Be Told with DT&Telly, featuring, according to the caller, the white quarterback of the Green Bay Packers, Jordan Love. Stay locked in.
More of Truth Be Told with DT&Telly is next on 1017 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
Get ready for a breath of fresh air with Community Heartbeat, your go-to show for health and wellness in our vibrant city. Presented by Outreach Community Health Centers and hosted by me, Sherwin Hughes. Tune in this Saturday at 10 a.m. as we take you on a journey toward a healthier Milwaukee. Community Heartbeat is not just a show, it's a movement dedicated to bringing our community together through wellness. We've got expert interviews, inspiring stories, and the inside scoop on local events from Outreach Community Health Centers that will keep your heart pumping with positivity.
So you may have heard of Project 2025, a plan crafted by Trump and his MAGA loyalists to give Trump virtually unchecked political power and take Black America backwards. Here's how. Project 2025 strips away our voting rights protections, and it eliminates the Department of Education. It would siphon public school funding to private schools, leaving our kids behind. Planning on going to college? Good luck paying for it. Project 2025 cuts funding for federal student loans. Trump's Project 2025 would also make states monitor women's pregnancies, and it bans abortion. Project 2025 would also gut Obamacare, ripping away health care from millions. Simply put, Trump's Project 2025 would be devastating to Black America. But we can stop it by voting for Kamala Harris for president, because we are not going back.
I'm Kamala Harris, candidate for president, and I approve this message.
paid for by Harris for president.
Milwaukee Health Services Incorporated is celebrating 35 years of serving all income and medically underserved populations of Milwaukee's metropolitan area. MHSI is a one-stop shop that provides medical, radiology, dental, pediatric, behavioral health, pharmacies with affordable medications, and more. Also, MHSI's new family medicine residency program, located at the Isaac Cobbs Heritage Health Center, has brought 28 family doctors to our area, which is significantly impacted by healthcare workforce shortages. Become a new patient today. To schedule an appointment, call 414-372-8080. Your health is their business.
Experience, knowledge, results. That's what really matters when you need help after a serious truck accident. You'll need a lawyer experienced in fighting and winning for people just like you. Gruber Law Offices has the resources, strong track record of success, and a team of experienced lawyers to take care of your needs. We've successfully helped people injured in big truck accidents for more than 35 years. Gruber Law Offices. One call, that's all.
It is Truth Be Told with DT&Telly on 1017 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
What's going on, Truth Nation? Happy Monday. It is the last day of September. Tomorrow is the first of the month. And before I forget, Telly, because I want to make sure that we cover this before we get back into the Brett Favre situation. Tomorrow in the state of Wisconsin, in the city of Milwaukee, we're going to have a lot of elected officials or people who are running for office, including Donald Trump. Former President Donald Trump will be in Wisconsin tomorrow, and it is reported that he will be visiting Milwaukee. Doug Emhoff, the second gentleman of the United States, Madam Vice President Kamala Harris's husband, will also be campaigning in Milwaukee tomorrow. Why are Telly and I telling you this? Remember the RNC, right? you couldn't get in or out. Those same rules will apply tomorrow. Trust and believe, especially if you have a flight departing out of Milwaukee, General Mitchell International Airport, or if you will be picking up somebody from the airport tomorrow. Forget about it. Forget about it. Ain't gonna happen.
Forget about it.
Tell him, dog, you got to call somebody else. I can't do it. Needless to say, plan accordingly because logistics tomorrow are going to be interesting.
Yes. A lot going on. And it's only going to, I feel like, DT, these are going to be announcements you're going to be making weekly as we get closer to November. Mm-hmm. Because they're going to be here. They're going to be here. And it's not just them. There was someone on our YouTube message board who said earlier that Congresswoman Jasmine Crockett was in Milwaukee yesterday. And
remember, we talked about that.
Yeah. We talked about it off the air.
Yeah, we did. We talked about it off the air. I was just thinking
about it. Yeah. I was like, did we talk about that on the air or off the air? Yeah.
No, you're right. It was off the air. So I attended a dinner in Dallas on Saturday. And Wes Moore, the governor of Maryland, was the keynote speaker. Jasmine Crockett kicked it. She had some remarks, and she was like, and I was just in the audience, so it wasn't like I was going to be like, yeah, girl, I'm from Milwaukee, because she was on the stage, but she was like, I'm heading to Wisconsin. But one thing I was going to do, Telly, you know how I am, I was ready to hear one boo. Now, I love me some Dallas, and this is my home now, but if somebody would have said boo when they said it Wisconsin, I'd have been like straight Ice Cube and Boys in the Hood. Oh, we got a problem? We got a problem? Ain't gonna be no Wisconsin hating up in here now.
But what you say? Look, hey, this ain't Eric Adams' press conference here.
Don't get it twisted.
You gonna put some respect on it?
Okay, we don't play them games in the WI. All right. So before break, we were talking about Jordan Love yesterday wearing, as part of his pre-game locker room entrance, the jersey of Brett Favre, who recently testified in front of Congress as part of the welfare scandal on Tuesday. And he also, during this testimonial hearing, revealed that he was diagnosed with Parkinson's disease as of January this year. And I thought to myself, ooh, black folks, we sure forgive. Now, Jordan Love may be biracial, but I'm old school. When I see Jordan Love, I see a black man. That's just me. I have seen reports where they talk about the existing number of black quarterbacks in the NFL as of the 2024-25 season. He is regarded as a black quarterback. We had a caller earlier that said he's a white quarterback, and I was just like, okay, I'm tripping. Time out, because what I see, now I know my vision ain't that great, Telly. But he, to me, looks like a black man when I see Jordan Love. On our Truth Talking text line, I'm looking for the quote. Oh, Marcus. Marcus says, I truly believe the Green Bay organization made him wear that to save Brett's image.
Yeah. See, and those are things that we're not privy to that type of information, if that's true or untrue. You don't know if someone may have paid him to wear it. You don't know. I mean, because these aren't things that he's going to come out and say, but as just an individual, that knowing what is going on and why he was there, you would believe that he would be a little more conscionable to be like, okay, even if he is a friend of mine or even as far as a mentor, that doesn't mean I got to support everything that he does. And I can still support him without wearing his jersey. And
timing.
So,
it was bad timing.
Yeah, because I'm sure there are other people that are on the team that still support Brett Favre, but was like, you know what, might not be a good time to wear his jersey.
Now, Telly, you've known me long enough to know that I am one of the, if not the greatest Kanye West fan. I also know what comes with being a Kanye West fan. I also know that there's been things that he has said and done, and I'm like, shh, come on, yay.
Like, yeah, I can't do that right now. Yeah, I can't ride with you right now.
I can't ride with, and look, there's been days where I've wore, my one of my favorite Kanye merchandise is the picture of his mother in his childhood house in Chicago. And I love wearing that shirt because, number one, it's very thought-provoking. People always say, who is that? Do you know how many times I've had to consciously say, I cannot wear this shirt because of the level of sensitivity that I have? Sure, I could wear it. I won't go to jail. But guess what, Telly? It could be offensive to others. And I don't want to offend people. That's just how I think. Yeah. I want to be sensitive because
No, go ahead. I'll let you finish because I got a really interesting story to back this up. Yes.
Yeah, as someone who is on public radio, who speaks for a living, who interfaces with people from all walks of life, I don't want to be that person that, knowing that there's controversy right now, there's smoke, there's heat, I'm not going to wear Kanye stuff because, again, like my dad always says, think, D.
Yeah, just
because every
I told all that smoke. Yeah,
all that smoke. And my father used to always say this, and I passed it down to my kids. Every choice you make has a consequence. Papa T always said, every choice you make, and there's two types of people, Telly, that my dad always talks about, and then I'm going to be quiet. He says, Denise, there's two types of people in this world. Either you're an asset or you're a liability. And trust me, your employer does not want or tolerate liabilities because that impacts their ability to be profitable. So all I'm saying is, Jordan Love, if the team made you wear it, that's one thing. But the timing and the fact that you are, to me, a visibly black quarterback, I just think it was a good look. By the way, y'all lost. Go ahead, Telly.
I got two things, and even to go as far as saying that they made you, okay, number one, they can only try to ask you or persuade you. They can't make you wear anything. That's number one. So let's be real. Number two, when you were saying that, I have a friend who's a comedian, and when all the Diddy stuff came out, he was just like, look, everybody can say whatever they want. My interaction with him, I shot a commercial with him. He was nothing but nice to me. Now, that was his interaction with Diddy. Now, would it be a good idea for him to come out and wear one of those old bad boy jerseys right now? Probably not. But that doesn't mean that he can't, his interaction with Diddy wasn't a positive one. And even if he wants to support him, he could do it in a way that is not so public. And so I'm saying that to say, even if Jordan Love felt the way that he felt, and again, it was his right, he chose to do it, and he did it. But like your dad told you, every choice has some sort of consequence. And if that's what you choose to do, that's why I know it's not in the same words as your dad, but that's the thing that I always remind my kids. Make good decisions. You got to make decisions. That's the one thing that you can't avoid in life is making choices, making decisions, because you got to choose what you wear every day. I mean, that's a choice. What you eat, that's a choice. You got to make decisions every single day. So the thing that you got to do is just try to make good ones.
And a lot of the decisions that we as black people make are to accommodate white people and make white people feel comfortable. Like Jordan Love, and I hear you, Ricky. Like Prentice said on our YouTube message board, what is the nut talking about? Jordan Love is black. He's a black quarterback. He has a black fiance. Get y'all's cousin, referring to the caller earlier. Mike Vick went to prison for dogfights at his house, and he wasn't even there. Black people, I'm just asking y'all, we are so forgiving, and I'm trying to understand, why is it that we are so forgiving in situations that we know we would not be forgiven by others? You're listening to the best morning show on planet Earth. When we come back, don't just take my word for it. We're going to hear from a notable, very well-known former NFL player and his reaction to Brett Favre's testimony in front of Congress this past Tuesday as part of the Mississippi welfare scandal. We'll be back.
Are record energy costs putting a squeeze on your fixed or limited incomes? With inflation rising at record levels and incomes not keeping pace, you might be one of tens of thousands of Wisconsin residents who are struggling to survive in the blistering heat of summer or the bitter cold of winter. While you haven't asked for it, the Keep Wisconsin Warm Cool Fund and your local energy assistance providers are here to help. No Wisconsin resident should ever have to face the challenge of living without heat or power or face homelessness. For a hand up, apply today and call 1-800-506-5596 or visit www.kwwf.org. That's 800-506-5596 or visit www.kwwf.org.
What if one day you went to your secret hiding place? You know, that spot that only you know about? And instead of what you came for, you found something a little different. What if instead of your private stash, you found a simple phone number, 1-800-662-HELP? What would you do? Would you stop and give it some thought? Would you make the call? The truth is, all drug use comes with risk. Before those risks become real, before drugs turn your life upside down, before drugs take their toll on you and your family, know that there is help. You can quit. If you or someone you love is struggling with drug use or prescription drug misuse, call 1-800-662-HELP for 24-hour free and confidential information and treatment referral, or go to samhsa.gov/thereishelp.
For your fellow fanatics and your number one fans. For your game day compatriots and your everyday companions. For your personal cheerleaders and your personal heroes. For the reasons you smile, get covered with dental and vision insurance from Delta Dental of Wisconsin and Delta Vision. Learn more at deltadentalwi.com today.
Sybaris Pool Suites. Romantic, luxurious, affordable. A place where romance touches paradise and the memories of a lifetime are made. Sybaris offers a variety of room styles, including the exquisite Chalet Suite, which spans 3 levels and features your own private swimming pool with cascading waterfall, soothing whirlpool tub, a cozy fireplace, and much more to make your stay unforgettable. They are located in Mequon, just north of Milwaukee. Take a virtual tour at Sybaris.com.
Southbound on 43, backing up from Bender Road all the way down to Capitol Drive, westbound on 94, just tightening up across the county line, heading towards Elm Grove Road. Eastbound's backed up from about 84th Street all the way to about 27th, and a little heavy northbound 4394 coming out of the Plainfield curve up towards Oklahoma Avenue. And checking the TMJ4 Storm Team forecast today, mostly sunny, a high of 75 at the lake, 80 inland. Tonight, partly cloudy, isolated showers to the north, a low of 59. From the WTMJ Traffic Center, I'm Debbie Lazga on 101.7 The Truth.
You are listening to Truth Be Told with DT&Telly on 101.7 The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
At Old National Bank, they know there is nothing small about keeping up a small business. That's why they have developed their empowerment loan program to help give people of color and women-owned businesses equal access to funds up to $5 million. This substantial commitment shows that Old National Bank truly believes that every small business deserves the opportunity to change their community in a big way. Learn more today by visiting oldnational.com/empowerment loan. Old National Bank, get old. All loans are subject to credit approval. Minimum loan amount $25,000. Additional program qualifications or restrictions may apply. For full details, contact an Old National Small Business Banker.
DT, speaking of money, Truth Nation, we have teamed up with Associated Bank for our Black-owned business give back. Each quarter, we will be giving away $6,000 worth of free commercial advertising for 3 months to 5 Black businesses. Visit blackbusinessgiveback.com. That is blackbusinessgiveback.com to sign up today. Let's rebuild our community's backbone through exposure on the truth. For official rules, head to blackbusinessgiveback.com. Associated Bank member FDIC.
We've been talking about, if you're just joining us, good morning and thank you for tuning in to the best morning show on planet Earth. We appreciate you. We hope your day is starting off on a good note. We've been talking about, as Black people, are we too forgiving and too forgetful when it comes to how we are treated? On our YouTube message board, Gonzo says, enough with the racism, DT. Gonzo, you are absolutely correct. Aren't you sick of it? I'm sick of it too. Now let me ask you this. When you send me the message, enough with racism, DT, did you say the same thing to Fox News? Just curious, Gonzo. Because see, this is a Black Talk radio show. And I'm so thankful that we have platforms like this. Because contrary to probably your belief, I have a significant number of white friends or non-Black friends that are committed to listening to this show to understand a perspective that has traditionally been silenced. So enough with the racism, DT. I completely agree with you, Gonzo, and I hope that you send the same message to Fox News, because every time I watch it, I'm ready. Also, Gonzo, I find it interesting. Again, I said this to Telly. Telly has not opposed or had any disagreement with anything I've said. But it's always DT. Welcome to being a woman. And when you're a Black woman, It's like being black twice. But thank you, Gonzo. Yes, I agree. That should be a T-shirt. Enough with the racism, DT. I'm all for you. Try living it every day. That's why we have this talk show. But Fox News, hey, call them. They'll give you a much better perspective on what it's like to be black in this country. Mrs. Rose, thank you so much for your patience. You are live with DT&Telly. What is your question or comment?
My comment is, I believe that what is the core belief of religious black Christians? Acceptance of a negative behavior in order to concentrate on only one issue of life at birth and not care about people after they're born and when they need help. Number two, is it also to punish persons of dark skin color for no other reason than to accept, to reject them, those who are not white looking, and to punish them? Is this what the black Christian religions are all about? And if it's not, then this is where we have a problem with why there aren't changes. And Christians, the so-called Christians, whether they're black, white, or whatever, if they do not believe that this discrimination exists, if they know it exists and they want to change it, it is up to them, these Christians, so-called Christians, to be in the forefront to change all those draconian laws now put in place in the present and in the past that will destroy blacks and others. This is what I think is one of the core beliefs in our black community, but yet we don't have that same Christianity toward each other because Christianity is not seeming to teach the truth of loving everybody and working with them to make changes for anything that is against people of different ethnicities. I just wanted to share that thought process.
Thank you so much, Mrs. Rose. We appreciate you. Thank you so much. And I agree with Mrs. Rose Telly. You know, it has to be consistent in terms of how we treat each other as a black community with regards to how we treat those outside of our community. Are we too forgiving? Are we too forgetting? Now, we've been dissecting the testimonial trial that Brett Favre took place, or that Brett Favre was part of in front of the Means and Way Committee in our nation's capital on Capitol Hill, where he announced that he was diagnosed with Parkinson's disease earlier this year in January. Now, Shannon Crowder, former NFL player for the Patriots, the New England Patriots and the Miami Dolphins, took to a podcast that he is on along with Ryan Clark. And Telly, I really want to get your opinion on this. We're going to play the audio. But during the podcast, and you can watch this on YouTube, Shannon Crowder was brutally honest about Brett Favre and his recent revelation of suffering from Parkinson's disease. So we're going to take a minute and listen to Shannon's take on Brett Favre announcing during a congressional hearing where he was supposed to be testifying about money that he allegedly stole from the Mississippi Welfare Fund. Check this out.
Favre, I'll be honest. The Parkinson's thing, if that has to do with football, like Dr. said, RC, I fully understand, and I would agree with that if the doctor said. For him to be in a lawsuit with stealing money and putting that into it, don't get pity off what my goddamn friends might have died off of. And that's as soon as I read that Brett Favre story, I'm like, yeah, so you stealing money from Mississippi. Oh, yeah, I got Parkinson's. Motherfucker, you were stealing. So that's my thing with Brett. Brett, if all love, I hope you do well. I hope you can work through this medical condition. But don't use the thing, the CTE, the brain injury, the trauma, all of that Junior and Tay went through to try to make people feel bad for you because you were stealing money, consciously stealing money. And that's my thing on Brett. I hope he's fine, but don't use it as a crutch, because I know other people that use football head injuries as a crutch, and that shit gets to me because I have friends that's died because of those injuries. Don't use that shit to try to get sympathy off me.
So, Telly, that was Channing Crowder. Regarding Brett Favre's recent revelation of suffering from Parkinson's disease, and that is the podcast known as The Pivot, which is featured on YouTube with Ryan Clark, Channing Crowder, and Fred Taylor. Reactions.
I was telling you off the air, I got a chance to meet Channing Crowder. This was years ago before he got into the podcast game, and he had just retired, and he was doing some local radio in South Florida, and I was down there for an event, and we ended up sitting at the same table. And I didn't tell you the rest of the story, but we ended up going outside, me, him, his wife, and a couple of other people, and we just had one of the most candid conversations, like over an hour and a half. Like, we veered away from the party. We were doing our own thing, and I'm saying all that to say, as real as Channing Crowder was just on that soundbite, that's exactly how he was 7-8 years ago. And I love his authenticity. I love the fact that he is going to say what a lot of us are thinking, and he has the platform to actually verbalize it. And he said no lies because, again, I thought the timing of that was very peculiar. And it wasn't peculiar. Let's just call it what it was. You're just trying to get some sympathy for something and distract people from what really is the reason you were there in front of Congress anyway. You were a part of a welfare scandal. No one called you there to say, okay, what are the connections between playing football and Parkinson's and how it leads to you making decisions that causes other people to not get the money they deserve. And so, the whole thing, don't use that platform to bring something else out, but then try to say it in passing so people don't. I mean, it wasn't like you said you had a cold or, oh, I got COVID. Like, you have a disease that doesn't have a cure yet, but then you just try to throw that in the middle of a sentence and try to move on. So, I mean, everybody that has two ears could see what you were trying to do in that particular moment, in that particular situation. Again, like Channing Crowder said, it had nothing to do with your recent diagnosis. It had everything to do with the scandal that was taking place that had your name all up in it.
A to the man. When we come back, we're going to hear more from Telly. We want to hear more from you, Truth Nation. And Telly, what's wrong with you? Enough with the racism. Racism is gone. That has nothing to do with football. Gosh, Telly, get it together. Racism is gone. Enough with it. We'll be back.
Don't touch that dial. Truth Be Told with DT&Telly will be right back on 1017 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
Truth Nation, it's your boy Tory Lowe, and I need to let you know the award-winning Tory Lowe Show can now be streamed live on YouTube every day from 1 to 4. I am now bringing all the smoke on YouTube every single weekday. I need you to go to YouTube right now and subscribe to 1017 The Truth and check out the award-winning Tory Lowe Show live every afternoon. Milwaukee Black Talk is now streaming live on YouTube. Now that's powerful. Sometimes it takes a breakdown to have a breakthrough. And at Vin Baker Recovery, they understand the power of having real support while you're on that journey to recovery. This is why at Vin Baker Recovery, they customize treatment plans specific for your needs. Vin Baker Recovery provides our community and anyone looking for help with access to mental health care and recovery support, helping you treat addiction. So whether opioid abuse, alcohol, or other controlled substances, Vin Baker Recovery helps you get back to the lifestyle that you know will be the best option for your future. Vin Baker Recovery offers licensed counseling and therapy services to curb the mental health problems that have been impacting our communities for far too long. They provide services like medication-assisted treatment, outpatient care, and hub and spoke services with peer support. So what are you waiting for? Vin Baker Recovery accepts walk-ins and appointments. It's just that easy. Just visit VinBakerRecovery.com. That's VinBakerRecovery.com. They're here to help you win the day.
Associated Bank knows your small business isn't just a venture. It's your dream and a vital part of the community. And we're not just a bank. We're your neighbors. We're looking out for you. That's why Associated Bank offers quick online applications and approvals with funding in as fast as one business day, checking with no minimum balances or maintenance fees, and prompt customer service. Explore our products at associatedbank.com/business or visit a branch for more details. Subject to credit approval. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Life's better with American Family Insurance. Because whether it's a family road trip in your dream car or hosting a family reunion in your dream home, we help you feel protected so you can enjoy those dreams with peace of mind. Save up to 23% when you bundle home and auto. American Family Insurance. Get a quote and find an agent at amfam.com.
Products not available in every state. Visit amfam.com to learn how discounts may apply to you. American Family Mutual Insurance Company, SI, and its operating company, 6000 American Parkway, Madison, Wisconsin.
I'm very familiar with Gruber Law Offices because they're always out in the community.
Gruber Law Offices are known to be honest, hardworking.
They're always involved in our neighborhoods.
Gruber Law Offices make our community a better place.
They are the best.
For nearly 40 years, Gruber Law Offices has helped people throughout Wisconsin. If you're injured, we're here to help. One call, that's all.
Wisconsin would not be the same without Gruber Law Offices.
You are listening to Truth Be Told with DT&Telly on 1017 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
Nation, you know what, Telly? Truth Nation, I owe y'all an apology. I want to apologize from the bottom of my heart. How dare I, Telly, on a black talk radio station, bring up racism? What is wrong with me? I just want to apologize, Truth Nation, because here at The Truth, where it's Milwaukee Black Talk Radio, I will never talk about racism ever again because it's a non-factor, according to one of our listeners and viewers on our YouTube message board.
Yeah.
I'm so sorry for talking about racism on a Black Talk radio show. Anywho, I'm so being sarcastic right now, y'all.
Yeah, because Judson said on our talking text line, keep on keeping on, DT&Telly. Racism is on full effect in the news. Keep telling the butt-naked truth.
Thank you, Jay.
That's from Jay.
You know I am. You know I am. Look, in all seriousness, Telly, and I don't know how you felt, but when this show was introduced to me, or I'm sorry, when this station, The Truth, was introduced to me as a potential co-host with you, you know, one of the things that I had asked, I was like, okay, so I see the words Milwaukee Black Talk Radio, but do you really want us to go there? And keep in mind, our overall general manager and the owner of this station are white people. And at the time, the person who was equivalent to Kyle Wallace, director of content, who also is a white man, he's no longer with GKB. And I said, look, if you want me to be a co-host on this station, I can't have certain filters because black people need to have a platform like this. We've never had this before in terms of 11 consecutive hours of Black Talk Radio. And I was instructed to tell the truth, whether it's facts, whether it's from my lens. But one thing we are going to talk about on this Black Talk Radio station are the impacts, the inequities, the inequalities, and the trauma that we endure and experience and navigate through daily as Black Americans. So if racism is something that you are tired of talking about, try being black and living it every day. It is trauma. It has perpetuated anxiety within me that is so high. And Paul, I appreciate your comments. You know I'm being sarcastic, but I have to remind certain individuals that when they say, oh, it's not always about race, please walk in my shoes for 1 week. I wish I could wake up and not have to navigate through. And again, being a black woman, that's 2 strikes. So if you do not want to hear the truth, if you don't want to listen and learn, because I've had a number of my white friends tell me, I love listening to you and Telly. I love listening to the truth. I am learning so much. I had no idea that's what my intentions were, giving that type of impact. So I'm going to keep doing what I'm doing. Because quite frankly, black Americans deserve these types of platforms. So if talking about racism makes you uncomfortable, you doggone right this ain't the station for you. but try living it every day. I don't care how many white friends you have. Moving on. I had to get that off my chest, Telly. Like Black Talk Show, no racism. Next thing you know, I'll be getting an invitation to go to a Ku Klux Klan rally. It's like, what are we doing here?
I mean, because I think that is the thing that has been perpetuated for years, DT, when it does come to racism. A lot of people think that, just don't talk about it. Just because you don't talk about it doesn't mean it doesn't exist. And just because it makes you feel uncomfortable doesn't mean it isn't something that shouldn't be talked about. Because as we all know, you only grow when you're uncomfortable. You don't grow when you're comfortable. So that's just period. And that's just in life. So because something is uncomfortable for you doesn't mean you should avoid it. And so and that's the same thing as racism. Just because you don't talk about it doesn't mean that the problem is solved, or it's just like, all right, we're not going to talk about DEI. That's
a great example. That's a great example.
So here, again, just because it's something that you don't feel comfortable about doesn't mean that you can't learn something and learn what it is and what other people that have to experience racism or discrimination, what they are actually having to go through. And not just, you focus in on the oppressor as opposed to the oppressed.
Okay, Telly. Let me get a sip of your coffee. I need some of that.
It did just turn on after I started drinking this, huh?
I mean, no, in all seriousness, Telly, you what you just said, I could not have said it any better. I'll give you an example. And we talked about this during the prep. What's the man's last name? Eric, was it Hovde? Hovde. Okay, so I'm going to hold this up. Please go to our YouTube channel right now. And I want all the folks, especially Gonzo, who talk about enough with the racism, DT. Now, I am minding my own business, Telly. I am going to my mailbox. I live in Dallas. But of course, I'm a Wisconsinite for life. I am holding up a campaign flyer that I received from Mr. Eric Hovde. And it says, and I'm holding this up, YouTube, Truth Nation, go to our YouTube. You can see this right now. It says, "A Voice for Wisconsin." Now, in this campaign flyer that I'm holding up, make sure I can push. There we go. Zoom in a little bit here.
You got it.
Oh, shoot, I moved it. Okay,
move back over.
Let me get it right.
Yeah, move it back over.
Okay, my truth of the matter is this. All the people in Mr. Hovde's flyer that represent the Voice for Wisconsin are white. There's not one person of color in this campaign flyer. How do you think I felt as a black person getting this campaign flyer and saw no representation of my people?
But
you tell me racism.
But you supposed to feel like he's for you.
I mean, it's like the Jetsons. There's like no black people in the future, according to the Jetsons. So according to Hovde, there's like no black people in Wisconsin. That's my truth of the matter.
But the Gazoo,
doggone it.
The Gazoo, what was his name? Gazoo. He was a part of the future. But DT, I feel like I've already given my truth of the matter in terms of, not just racism, but just period. I think that, a lot of times we see what we want to see, and regardless of what your perspective is, just try to look at it from all angles and not just through your lens. And so when you make monolithic statements like, oh, racism, what does that have to do with it? Unfortunately, in the country we live in, it has everything to do with a lot of stuff.
And just so you know, Gonzo came back and said,
doesn't matter.
Mr. Hopi is right. You have to pay what you weigh in this world. Wow. Okay. Well, on that note, Truth Nation, we love you so much. Thank you so much for making time to tune in. Stay locked in because up next, you've got 9 additional hours of live Black Talk Radio, kicking us off with our beloved Mr. Professor Sherwin Hughes. Make it a great day. I love y'all so much. Thank you again for all your support. Tell somebody you love them. And if there's no representation of you, when you walk into that building, walk right back outside. Love you.
Peace out.
Don't touch that dial. Truth Be Told with DT&Telly will be right back on 1017 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com. Truth Nation, join us live for the Truth Summit on Saturday, October 26th from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. at the 3rd Street Market Hall. This exclusive in-person roundtable will examine the state of finances, education, and politics for Black Milwaukee. Dr. Ken Harris will be joined by expert guests for a lively debate and insights that you can't afford to miss. We've got it covered on the pulse of Black Milwaukee. Get your tickets to the Truth Summit by visiting 1017thetruth.com.
1017 The Truth and Associated Bank have teamed up for our Black-owned business give back. Each quarter, we'll be giving away $6,000 worth of free commercial advertising for 3 months to 5 Black businesses. To sign up for your business's chance to win $6,000,